Hojlund returning. Why this is massive news for Manchester United. Hojlund and Xerxes together, Ruud van Nistelrooy coaching them. How will things change? Amad Diallo breaking other statistical records this season. Thomas Tuchel could be close to joining a club that isn't Manchester United. Bye Old Trafford. INEOS shock new plans for stadium revealed. We'll talk about that in detail. Some updates on Angel Gomez to United and United looking at the player. Some updates on Lascelles and a few other players United looking at, like the Southampton wonder kid. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news for you guys in less than 10 minutes. Guys, please do hit the like button. It is my birthday today, so, you've got more reason to hit the like button. And, of course, subscribe down below if you're new. We're only 8 subscribers off 93,000 subscribers. 92,992. So if we can hit 93k on my birthday, even better. But let's get into the news. Now, this is the news. This is interesting. It's quite funny, actually. Garnacho's commented on Hojlund's post, finally emoji, and Hojlund responded, don't jinx it. And Mason Mount's posted back with the man at Rasmus Hojlund as well. Rasmus Hojlund is back. He's back in Manchester United training, and he should be available to be on the bench ahead of the weekend. I think people are underestimating how big this is, because I think people underrate Hojlund. The guy got 16 goals last season. We signed him off the back of a 9-goal season as a 19-20-year-old kid who was going to be one for the future, and we were hoping to bring someone like Harry Kane in, and he was going to be the guy to learn from him. To him having to be the main man in one of our worst ever seasons where we created absolutely nothing, for him to get 16 goals when the media was on him, riding him off, to score in big Champions League games. And you can see that if the ball was in front of him, he's a monster. Xerxes good with his back to goal, dropping deep the ball behind him. But the ball in front of him, Hojlund's a monster. 10 minutes pre-season versus Arsenal, he scores a good goal. He's a good finisher. Last 2 Premier League games of the season, he comes off the bench and bashes in a goal. Manchester City game in the FA Cup final, he holds up the ball really well coming off the bench. I think people forget that this guy is 20. I think he's 21 now, actually. Like, how young he is, and actually, he actually had a really good season for him. Yes, we paid £64 million for him, but we should have paid 40 million, and people forgetting how young he is when we signed him. I think people underestimate his impact. So I actually wrote a little bit about why this is huge news for Manchester United. Hojlund's return is huge for Man United. Despite limited service and injuries last season, he still netted 16 goals, proving he is a natural finisher with massive potential. Now, with technical upgrades from Xerxes, Amad Diallo and Mazraoui in United's attack is more creative, and the ability in the ball has gone up levels. If Amad secures the right wing spot, Hojlund will benefit from better service, because Amad is averaging a chance created every 26 minutes this season, which has only been better by Cole Palmer. I think Hojlund's will go up levels despite only playing 10 minutes in pre-season. I think he's already shown sharpness by scoring versus Arsenal. But what I want to bring to that is, we've gone from Anthony and Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side, and while I like Wan-Bissaka defensively, on the ball, Anthony and Wan-Bissaka right-hand side, not technical, to now having a Mazraoui Amad right-hand side that's technical, but also creates chances and can progress the ball much quicker. You've seen Xerxes getting chances that Hojlund never got in his first season at United. We may still have problems off the ball, and we still may have a lot wrong with us off the ball, but we scored 10 goals in our last 3 games. On the ball, the quality and ability is there. Xerxes unreal on the ball, Amad's unreal on the ball, Mazraoui's unreal on the ball. We've gone up levels on the ball, and our final third game has gone up levels. We underperformed at XG more than any other team so far at the beginning of the Premier League. We should have scored 4 more goals so far in the Premier League. We should have got 3 points versus Brighton if we could finish and stay on side, because we've actually had to play there, which is a good sign. It's just off the ball, we've been such a disgrace that we've let ourselves down, particularly in the Liverpool match in the first 30 minutes versus Southampton. But on the ball, we've gone up levels, we're creating more chances, and I think that Hojlund will thrive because of that on the ball. And I think you could actually play Hojlund with Xerxes, and I think it would work so unbelievably well. I really said this. I said I need to see Hojlund and Xerxes play together at least once this season. Xerxes dropping deep, facilitating play, linking up. Hojlund proper box striker with dangerous running power. Imagine Xerxes playing in Hojlund. That duo would be so deadly. You've got Hojlund and Xerxes and Amad and Rashford, or Garnacho. And, you can link up the wingers with speed. Hojlund's also got speed, playing him behind. Xerxes got that link up, so has Bruno. I think it would be so exciting to see. I think it would be brilliant. And this is what I wrote in June. Do you remember in June the Euros were going on? And because Hojlund didn't score in the Euros, everyone started saying Hojlund's rubbish, because they judged him off 3 games in the Euros when Sesko didn't have a great Euros, Kane didn't have a great Euros. If we're judging Foden off the Euros, he's one of the worst players England have ever had. So it's crazy how people only judge the 20-year-old Man United kid based off his Euros, and this is what I said back in June. I don't understand how some fans have decided that Hojlund isn't good enough based on a few Euros game. He's been no worse than Sesko, Kane, etc. If you watch him play last season, you would see his quality. He scored 16 goals at age 20, only one less than Jackson, who had a much higher XG created for him. No player aged 21 or under has got more PL goal contributions than Hojlund last season, which is true because Cole Palmer turned 22. He showed his class in the UCL as top scorer in the group stage, despite receiving almost no service and playing in a poor, unsustainable system inside. He still scored 16 goals. Hojlund was signed off the back of a 9-goal season as a 19-20-year-old prospect. He's a prospect and has room for improvement, but people are forgetting he's still a kid. And I think Hojlund coming back will be great for United. I want to see him with Circus, and I think people underrate Hojlund. So I'm super excited for this pairing. And you also know that Ruud van Nistelrooy is coming back in to help Hojlund. I think his game could go up level. Shearer said this. With Ruud van Nistelrooy returning, that can only help enhance the levels of Hojlund, because Ruud van Nistelrooy has been there. He's worn the Old Trafford shirt. Hojlund is working with him on the training ground. He's only going to improve. In really difficult circumstances for Hojlund last season, I think there's definitely something to work with there. It was around 16 goals he got in the end, which is a decent return for how tough it had been for him and a lot of his teammates most of the season. Alan Shearer, striker, scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, scored most goals in the Premier League, if we're going to be specific. Said, you know what, Hojlund done all right. It was difficult for him. 16 goals is a good return. So I'm not going to listen to what Phil says on Twitter. I'm going to listen to what Shearer says. But let's get into some more news, because I actually want to get into news rather than talking about my opinion on players. And that, obviously, just continue with opinion, is that Amad Diallo ranks first for progressive runs per night in the Premier League, showing that he's getting the ball in deeper areas and carrying it up the pitch. And he's showing his real ability to retain the ball and make things happen. He's also ranked second for chances created as well. So you're really seeing the impact of Amad Diallo. And I think he's got that right wing spot on lockdown. I think Garnacho's been great, but Garnacho's such a good impact off the bench. Now Rashford's got confidence. He's got that left-hand side. But I think we're in a great position where we've sort of got Rashford, Xerxes, Amad, but we can have Garnacho and Hojlund to come off the bench, even Mount to come off the bench and press, and then Bruno will probably play as a 10. I think we're in a really good position depth-wise. But I want to talk about the Tuchel news, because there's rumours of Tuchel joining Milan. Obviously, the Milan manager is at risk of getting sacked, and it could be decisive these coming days. And Tuchel is a valid option for Milan. His availability to negotiate with the club is apparently there. Apparently, Tuchel, there's some reports and rumours that Tuchel's actually suggested that he'd be interested in taking the AC Milan job. But Sarri is the primary name. But that's interesting, because Tuchel didn't come to United because he wanted a break from management, is what we've been told. But there are reports saying that Tuchel would be interested in taking the AC Milan job. And if Tuchel's interested in taking the Milan job just months after talks of INEOS, to me it suggests that maybe we did want Tuchel and he didn't like something we'd offered him and he rejected us, which I think could be the case as well, which shows that INEOS probably didn't want to keep Ten Hag. Those news stories that came out before the FA Cup final that Ten Hag was going to be sacked was likely true. But that is in the past, and one thing we can say about INEOS is they've really backed Erik Ten Hag this summer. They've brought in Ruud van Nistelrooy, René Hake, a number of people Dan Ashworth's brought in. I can't even remember the name. We've brought in about 10 people in and around Ten Hag to support him, as well as one of our best ever transfer windows. So I think that being said, you can see that we've really shown the support towards Erik Ten Hag. Continuing on, bye-bye Old Trafford could it be? Manchester United prepared to abandon plans to keep Old Trafford if they build a new stadium. We were talking about this yesterday in my live show. There was reports coming out that United ideally want a 30,000-seater stadium, and that being Old Trafford downsized into a 30,000-seater stadium for the academy and for the women's team. Now, there's possibilities that won't be possible. It'll be too expensive, and they want to build a massive stadium next to Old Trafford. It all depends on funding. They're probably going to have to pay for it. They're not likely to get public funding for that. But it looks like it will take just as long to refurbish Old Trafford as it would to build a new stadium. And I think it's more cost effective to just build a brand new stadium. And I think that's what United are looking to do. Now, I think we should build a new stadium and have Old Trafford next to it. I feel like you can't get rid of Old Trafford because of the history and everything. But there's talks that we might just completely abandon Old Trafford and build a new stadium as well, which I don't like, but I understand the need to build a new stadium. As someone that's gone and seen the Tottenham Stadium a couple of times, I understand the need that we do need to upgrade Old Trafford and build a new stadium, but I just think you can't get rid of Old Trafford because of the history there as well. Continuing on into this next story. And I do apologise if there's a little bit of background news coming through. Manchester United among Premier League clubs battling to win the race for Angel Gomez. They're mulling over handing him a chance to return as Ten Hag has tasked the scouting department to continue keeping tabs on him. Eriksen is leaving on a free. In January, you can sign Angel Gomez for free. Like for like replacement for Eriksen, but can actually cover the ground. Question marks around his physicality in the Premier League, but Ligue 1 is such a physical league and he's doing well. I just think Angel Gomez in on a free, Eriksen out. Bish bash bosh, like for like replacement. then all the money that we have for midfields can be invested in DM, whether that be Adam Wharton, whether that be a Johnny Cardozo, whether that be a Stiller, whether that be a Supermende, probably not. But I think we need an Eriksen replacement, a Casemiro replacement. If Angel Gomez is the Eriksen replacement, he can compete with Mount and Maino, and that's good competition there. We don't need to spend crazy money there. He can do the job, but then we can spend money in terms of someone that's going to compete with Agate. It's that Casemiro replacement, and then we've all of a sudden got that good squad depth. Because I think when I look at United, left back and DM and number 8 and left centre back is where I'm like, if we got Branthwaite, Robinson, Wharton, Angel Gomez in, and maybe that young dibbling guy from Southampton on the wing to challenge our wingers, I think that would be 5 really good additions in the summer. That's me saying this now. They could have poor seasons come summer. They may not be good additions, but that's the way I do it. I do want to say Samuel Lassol has been pictured at Old Trafford. That's official, and apparently he's one of the most exciting talents out there. So I look forward to watching him in the academy. Anthony Martial's joined AFK Athens on a free transfer, and Manchester United could attempt to turn the head of Southampton winger Tyler Dibbling. Dan Ashworth was previously aggressive in trying to sign the player. Guys, please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching. Bye.